Hello, 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 hello. How's it going, everyone? How's it going? How's it going? How's it going? I should do this thing where I increase the size of this. Much too small for a beast like myself. How's it going, everyone? Hello, hello. So I am streaming on Twitch and YouTube. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to be ranking every player from Worlds 2025 by role. I'm going to do it by role. Might do overall top 20 and then compare it with my list from before Worlds as well. But yeah, I figured it would be really cool to have a look back at the tournament, see who impressed me, who surprised me, and reflect on the tournament a little bit. By the way, we have already a golden kappa train in Twitch, so get your golden kappa, I suppose. And if you're on YouTube as well, I hope you're doing well there as well. So we'll be, yeah, I'll be keeping an eye on YouTube chat as and when I can. And then afterwards as well, I'll be going on to the League Awards, because there is a bunch of stuff to go through here as well. Hey, by the way, thanks everyone for the resubs. Who resubbed? Who has resubbed? Vasu, Mecha, who else in there too? Hey Duo as well, good to see you all. But yeah, I figured we'd hang out for a bit, because there's not much else to do today, you know, League's off. Oh yeah, let me do that thing as well. Right thing. Where's the thing here? 1 second. There we go, let me just wax that in. And yeah, and if you have the chance, by the way, folks, please download and sign up to Opera GX. It helps me get paid. It's a sponsorship I've got for this month. So yeah, if you have the bandwidth to do that, it makes a lot of difference. And yeah, it's been very cool to see people do that. Whereas yours and Sam's awards for best casters, well, that'd be Broadcast Talent of the Year, or it would be, I suppose, Esports Creator or Community Creator of the Year, one of these three. Chuck them in there. And if you'd like to nominate as well, it would be very, very cool. Okay, let's just bring this back up again. Let me see if this is working. Yeah, it is. I think it is. No, it's not. What's happened to my Epic Pen? 1 second, folks. Where is my Epic Pen gone? I need to have my Epic Pen. Where is it? Just in case. Where is it? Window capture? Tell I haven't been completely set up for this. It was a bit of an on. There we go. Cool. Okay, so I can draw on the screen and stuff. Perfect. Cool. How's everyone doing? Hope you're doing well. I put my alert box on as well. Oh yeah, I kind of silenced my alert box. I don't know why though. Wait, what do you mean by sad, Sully? Wait, what? Why are you sad there, Sully? What's happened? Okay, should we get into it, folks? Should we get into it? Bring it over here as well. Cool. Right, let's get into this. So I figured we'd start with top lane. I guess I have to. Do I go bottom up? Maybe I go bottom up. Bottom up. I might have to move some stuff around. I might have to move some stuff around, but yeah, I believe there's top lane's gonna be. Do we do top lane first? Do I start with top lane? Because top lane is one of the ones which really it really annoys me. I might have to start from jungle, you know. We'll come back from top lane. We'll go from top lane. We'll go to top lane later, rather. Top. Oh, there we go. Cool. Cool. Sorry, yeah, my mic sometimes dies. My bad, folks. Sometimes my mic will die, and I don't know why that is. I think I found a relative fix to it, but sometimes it does die. That happens. So I guess we'll go. I guess we'll go from jungle. I guess we'll go from jungle. Do I work from bottom up? I think I just have to place some things into a relative area and then kind of start folding them out from that. I'll try and give as much explanation as I can, but then again, we do have like 100 players to do, so I can't really go in depth onto everyone in terms of bringing up clips. I'll just try and give a short summary of why I think they are where they are. Let's just chuck everyone from like let's chuck a couple of names onto him. Let's chuck a couple of names and let's rank them higher or lower. Let's whack them all onto the same place. In fact, do I just take everyone out and then move them up and down? Maybe that's the easiest way to do it. Just take everyone out from the list and we'll do it that way, maybe. Hey, Aladdin, how's it going? It's Knavi, Uner, Cuz. Hey, how's it going, Tack? Kenyan. Let's just take everyone out from that role and then let's think about it like that. It's probably the most helpful way to do it. Oh yeah, and we're gonna have it's gonna be more than 16 because Baytron and Shadow were both subbed in, right? Tarzan's there as well. Did I miss everyone? No, not Driver. That's the wrong one. Cast is that. Who was the... It was Histo, right? Was the Jungle of Team Secret Wells. Inspired. We got... yeah, we got River out already. We got Disarmus. Okay, we got everyone there. Damn, we had that. Folks, you wasted the Golden Kappa train. It's gone already. You could have had Golden Kappas. Greetings, my liege. Congratulations on the final banger finals code stream. It was really cool. It was really cool getting to get everyone in there. Okay, so let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Hang on, is that too many? Oh, why have I got Gakos in there? What the heck? I dragged the wrong person up. I was wondering why Gakos was in there. 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Is that true? Oh, whatever. We'll just figure it out as we go along. Okay. Is it easier for me to just choose my best? I think it might actually be easiest to do it from best first, folks. Whole tournament, let's just put out our top contenders. I think that, Cuz, Tarzan, and Ona are clearly, for me, my top cut, I suppose. My top cut. These three were all really, really good. I need to put things into vague areas before I start kind of whittling it out into the specifics. I think that Kanavi is somewhere up there as well. I suppose then we have... Okay, this is our top four. This is our top four. I think we can work from this. So, I think this is quite solidly my top four until I remember something which I've forgotten. I think Cuz had a monumental tournament. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. I really loved the way that he played, right the way up until finals as well. And I think in finals, actually, you look at the first games in finals, even up until, I'd say, Game 4, he was having a really, really good time. Game 1, perhaps you can hold something against him for his Wukong engage around Dragon, which led to the team fight, which lost KT the game in Game 1. Your list is already wrong, I'm afraid. Goomer is #1 because he was finals MVP. I swear to God. Yeah, part of the reason I'm doing this, folks, is because I made a... In fact, do I go get up the tweet? Maybe I get up the tweet. Let me show you this. Let me show you this. Let me show you this. So I made a tweet. I know I'm derailing his ADHD. It happens. I made a tweet about my team of the tournament, and this will kind of spoil bits and pieces, right? But oh my God, there were some people that just went absolutely ape on this. Oh, I can't see all the replies, but this was basically my team of the tournament. As you can see, 200 replies, like a bunch of quotes as well. And it went absolutely mad. So that basically made me think, okay, well, maybe it's time I actually do something like a, maybe I talk through my logic, so there's a bit more long-form content out there. But yeah, basically, I made a tier list, not tier list, sorry. I made a kind of my team of the tournament, which is basically my team, my player, best player per role across the average of the whole tournament. And for instance, I put Viper over Goomer, and a lot of people were really, really incensed by that. I think Goomer's excellent, by the way. We'll talk about that logic later, so hold on to your hats. So I figured let's actually have a bit of more of a long-form conversation about it. Right, where was I? We're starting on jungle. These are my top 4, I think. Cuz, Tarzan, Ona, Kanavi. Now, I think quite clearly Kanavi is #4 on that. I think his semi-finals, he was massively out-jungled by Ona. I think that against Cuz in the KT series as well, I think that Cuz had a good time against him. So we've got 2 of those kind of direct matchups which went in favor, which went against him or went in favor of his opponents. I still think that Kanavi is very core to the way that Top Esports performed. He's a very, very good player. Is there anyone else I put over him? Andrew was pretty good. Peanut was pretty good. You know what? Let me just put up some other names up in here too. Just so I can have them in my mind, you know. Just chucking these around here. But I do think that Kanavi... I would put Kanavi a cut above Junja Peanut. Although it's pretty close. I think it's pretty close on the whole. Kanavi was still very, very good in a lot of ways. It kind of taking an individual lead and running with it. I think that, for instance, even right up until the end against, you know, T1, his Kiana game against them in game 3 was actually very, very solid. I think he's done enough to keep himself in the conversation. We might move Kanavi about a bit. Who do we put out atop here, though? I think Ona was an exceptionally clutch team fighter, incredibly good at objectives. I think his early game was a little lower than Tarzan and Cuz, and in fact, that was one of the big problems with T1, was actually that the early game was a little bit more flimsy than KT and AL, and that's actually how they got legs over them. However, I really think that Ona was so clutch in the team fights, despite what was, you know, I wouldn't say this was peak Ona. I don't think that we got peak Ona here. I don't think that we got peak Ona at this tournament. He was still very, very good, but given how good he was throughout the rest of the year, I felt there was a little bit more to give, you know? I think that Cuz, however, was very, very, very good at early game. Most of his team fighting was very good. I think either way, these two are just a cut above Tarzan for me. Despite the fact that I thought that Tarzan and Kanavi were the best junglers in the world coming into the tournament, with Ona being third, I think they just were a cut below Cuz and Ona. I think that the prep which KT had very much benefited Cuz. And I think in the finals, it is worth noting that Cuz, for a lot of it, was out-jungling Ona early, and then Ona was out-team fighting late. But then the Mundo in finals was absolutely nuts. Cuz was exceptionally good. He was exceptionally good. You know, when I made my team of the tournament, I did put Ona in, but I'm really wondering whether... You know what, folks? I'm actually going to leave this and simmer on this a little while. When I initially made my post, I put Ona as first. I'm strongly considering Cuz now. I think this is quite clearly the top two, though, and then I think that one of them will drop down. But we'll return to that in a little bit. Tarzan Kanavi. Let's have a think about all the others in here as well. Wei, we barely saw... Oh, we didn't see enough of Wei. He was actually pretty good in that series, though. River was actually pretty solid. Razok had a bit of a mare. Yoro was slightly better than him. Disarmus was alright. Canyon had a bit of a nightmare himself, actually. Initially, I'm thinking something like... God, Canyon wasn't fantastic, you know? Canyon wasn't fantastic, you know? Did you already do top laners? We're doing top laners last, Seraph, because honestly, it's really hard to rank, because they were, a lot of them were really struggling. I think that Beitran and Shadow both really struggled. I would argue that Shadow was a little better than Beitran, but it doesn't matter. They're basically on the same benchmark. Caster was actually very good. I actually think Caster was very good. In fact, I think that Caster was like up, maybe up here somewhere. Inspired was a little flat. Cuz then Ona Tarzan, the rest had a horrible tournament. I don't know about that. But I'm just vaguely moving stuff around because the problem is Wei only had one best of 5. How much can you say off of one best of 5? He was actually pretty damn good. He was in that one series, comparative. I actually thought that I mean, his last game in that series I remember not being great, but actually he was much better than I thought he would be. He out-jungled, he had a massive jungle diff in game 1, I think it was. And then obviously the Shy threw that away. It feels bad ranking River this low, because River was actually pretty good. God, Canyon wasn't awesome, was he? Canyon was actually pretty rough. Was Hizdo the worst jungler? I mean, he wasn't fantastic. Razork wasn't great either. I think Razork was pretty meh. I did like what Caster was doing. I don't think he was better than Inspired, though. Even though I think Inspired was not fantastic. I think Skewmon was actually very good on the whole. No way Hizdo was the worst. This is the problem. Like, there are so many games to go over. I mean, arguably I could say that Razork was the worst, maybe. I think you could argue that. I think River was pretty good, but then who else makes it down here? Disarm is probably not better than these two, I suppose. Only 16 slots. Yeah, I might have to add another one because there was an extra slot. I think maybe Razork was the worst jungler at Worlds. Razork was pretty rough. I'm trying to remember the specifics, though, because, again, there's a bunch of games. A lot of their games happen earlier into the tournament, right? Yoyo wasn't fantastic, really. I mean, no, he was pretty good early game, and then late game, it wasn't awesome. Yeah, I do need to add an extra tier list, don't I? An extra tier to this 17, because I think there are 17 jungles total, right? I mean, basically, Beidra and Shadow, it doesn't make much of a difference. Disarmus wasn't, like, fantastic, but... how much did Disarmus do? I mean, I don't think he was actually that awful as the thing, right? God, Canyon really wasn't great, was he? Did I do top lane? I'm returning to top lane later, because top lane's a really hard one, because no one had a great tournament, really. I think Disarmus is probably over his to right. I don't know. God, Canyon really wasn't great, was he? Oh, I need an extra slot again. Whoops. Sorry, there's another one. I have I need one more slot. Keen was exceptional till semis. Yeah, we'll get to that later. I actually really like what Caster did this tournament. He wasn't there for that long is the problem. He was very good in his 2 best of ones, but he only had best of ones, you know? Like, do I put it like this? Is that a little bit too... I mean... Caster was really good in the couple of games he had, but he just didn't have that many games. And then he also ended up losing to Disarm. Yeah, no, Caster has to go way down, actually. Despite him having 1 or 2 good games. In fact... because VKS beat PSG... God, were Beidra and Shadow really below him, though? No, I don't think they were. I think it's more like... I actually think it's more like this. God, it sucks. Caster was actually pretty good. Is that true? That feels like I'm really underrating Caster then at that point. Do I actually put them both... In fact, actually, do I do something like this? Because actually, Shadow and Beidra were both pretty bad. Does this feel more fair? I think this feels more fair, actually. I think Beidra and Shadow both had a bit of a nightmare. I think this feels a little more fair. And then we have to... then we have to decide on this. I'm so sorry, Nexer. I speak a little bit of Spanish, but not enough to, like, read Twitch chat on the fly. Wait, Tarzan, Kanavi, Canyon, and Cuz... Okay. Ona got out-jungled all of Worlds except versus top esports. I don't think that's true. The thing is, Ona got a bit blasted early, but I think that his late game teamfighting more than makes up for it. Like, personally, I think that... oh god, Cuz was so fucking good though, actually. What do I value more? The clutch teamfighting of Ona, or the prep and the early game domination that Cuz had? Who of these players will end up playing for Genji and H. Lee? Sorry, no worries, next day, sorry. Who will end up playing for Genji and H. Lee? Very hard to tell. There's a lot of money getting thrown around. LPL to off-season is going to be wild. Folks, I think this is a decent starting point. Do I put Junja over Peanut? No, I don't think I do. I think that Junja was very good, and I think he does deserve to be up here. I do think that everyone else above him, though... Oh, I don't know. Junja was pretty damn good. I think clearly your top 2 are Ona and Cuz. I think the clutch smites and teamfighting of Ona put him first for me. I think they do. Cuz has to be second, and Ona... Yeah, it has to be top 2. I think Tarzan, very much top 3. These are very, very, very close. Kanavi at 4? Is that true? I actually think Kanavi was good, but actually, was he better than Peanut and Junja? I mean, Kanavi was excellent up until the KT series. He was very good versus BLG too. Kanavi is actually really doing my head in here. God, should Wei be at 10? Not sure about that, actually. Maybe I'll whack that there. Because I don't think Wei was fantastic, but sorry, I don't think Wei he was awful. pretty much how do you value the clutch. This is the thing with Kanavi. It's the semifinals was such a disaster, but I don't think it was on him. I don't hold the semifinals against him that much. Peanut was, again, he had a pretty solid tournament. I wouldn't say it was fantastic, but it was pretty solid. Would I actually put Junja over Peanut? I actually think I put Junja over Peanut slightly, you know, thinking about the micro stuff of this. Skimon was legit. His Mundo was insane, but he was a little hard to... I think... I think Skimon has to be a little bit above Inspired. He actually, I think 2 out of the 3 games they played in the series against each other, Skimon got the better of Inspired. I think games 2 and 3 of the series that G2 had against FlyQuest, Skimon was a little better. But it's pretty close on that front. I think both of them had a... I mean, Inspired, I think... Pre-tournament, I would have put him up like, you know, something like here, right? Somewhere just in top 5. Like around here, 4th or 5th. I think that he had a worse tournament than he wanted. River was actually pretty legit too. Canyon had a stinker. Would I still put Canyon there or something? I don't know. No, I don't think I would. He like solo lost them a game in game 1 versus KT, you know? I think this is fair. Am I underrating Yoya? No. Yoya was fine, but like I don't think he had a fantastic tournament. Disarmus out jungle Carter, he has to be above him, I think. Carter had some very good games versus Hlee. Was it Hlee and Genji he played against? But he did get wrecked by Disarmus. Oh, he did get wrecked by Disarmus. He was really bad in their last series. Just because that Vial? Yeah, it was a really bad Vial. It was that overdiving in mid lane onto a Caitlyn with Flash while your team was out of position. We actually broke this down on EuroLeague. Canyon like solo lost them the game in game 1. Yeah, it was very, very bad. Inspired. He didn't show that much impressive stuff this tournament. He wasn't the only reason they lost, though. No, he wasn't. I mean, I'm using hyperbole, right, saying solo lost, but it was the biggest play which lost them the game. That was the play which kind of took them from the lead and allowed... Because what happened was that play got Canyon killed. Got a bunch of the rest of them killed. Ruler also had a bad team fight as well, because he walked up to die to BDD's Yone. And then because they died on that timer... KT got Soul after that fight. They couldn't close out kind of the chokehold they had on that game. They gave Soul over and the game fell apart. That was the largest individual mistake in that game, and it was huge. And I think that set off the mantle chain reaction, which destroyed that series. Okay. Is there any massive outlier here? Is there any massive outlier? Obviously, there's 18 players to rank, so it's actually quite hard to go through everything in detail. I'm a little bit worried that Wei only played 1 series. It was pretty decent, but there's not much to go off of that. Carter had 1 or 2 good games, but he was out jungled by Disarmus. God, Razok really wasn't great, was he? Damn. He did go out 0-3, didn't they? Do you agree that KT coaching staff drafted the best for their team this tournament? Yes, totally agree. Yep, they were the best drafting team this world by far. Does Canyon deserve to be here? This like little stretch here, 10 through 8, I'm a little bit off on. Because Canyon was pretty bad for his standards, but am I overvaluing that? Junja was also pretty legit too. Yeah, do I just leave IG out? Folks, maybe I have to leave IG out because they only played 1 series. But it's only what... Yeah, I wonder whether we have to leave IG out just because there's not enough... It's just gonna be noise in the data, right? Because, look, can I definitively say one player was better than the others, right? I suppose they played... What, they played... Was it 5 games? Was it 5 or 4 games in play-ins? It was a lot. It was a decent amount of games, right? I think it was a 5-game series, right? Was it? Oh, God, I'm forgetting it was right back in the 4-game series. Yeah, I didn't think it was Silver Scrapes. 4 games? Then you do have... Well, I mean, you've got players like Razork who only played 4 games as well, right? Or so? Okay, yeah, you know what? Fair enough. There are teams which went out 0-3. So we have to... If we're going to rank them, we have to rank IG as well. We'll have to keep that in. Okay, folks. I may return to this to do some last kind of tweaking at the end of it, but I'm pretty happy with the shape of this so far. Okay, let's go on to mid lane. Let's go on to mid lane. Let's bring out all of our mid laners somewhere onto the graph, onto the chart. So let's get everyone on, and then we'll start moving them around from there. Okay. Hey, Fragga, how's it going? Thanks for the stream streak. Let's get Honky up there. Wait, do I do that? Should I do this in the same tier? Hang on. Should I do this all on the same graph, or should I do it individually? What looks better, actually? I didn't do top lane. I'm doing top lane later, just because top lane is really hard to do. Let's keep it clear like this. And then maybe I'll put them all together at the end of it. I've already put Maple out there. Dire. Quid. Let's check out Miru. Miru is actually pretty good, you know. He was actually pretty decent. Hobie. And then Jojo. This is going to be a bit hard. Okay, so folks, this one, I think we have to start from the top right again. I think it's easiest to do that. I think clearly for me, BDD's number 1. And then for me, I think Faker's number 2. I think BDD was absolutely phenomenal. This guy was playing with a lot of pressure on him to be the main carry of his team, because his teammates on a, I guess, a brute force level, like a stock value, were not nearly as high as some of the other teams that he was playing against. This guy was absolutely exceptional. And in finals, I think he also outplayed Faker a lot too, especially in laning phase. He was absolutely fantastic. However, I will say this is not to discredit Faker. Faker had an excellent tournament. It's just that BDD was just that step beyond individually. And I still think Faker was critical to his team. I think it was clutch as hell. I think his champion pool was the largest it's been in a long time compared to his other Worlds runs. I think that these two are clearly top 2. And then like there's these two, and then there's like a massive gap between... Is that a massive gap? There's a gap between 2 and then the other ones, I think. Okay, that's my top 2. After that, actually gets a little bit harder to tell. Shanks bottled it versus Faker. His game 4 and 5 were really quite bad versus him. The rest of his tournament was pretty decent, but god, his LeBlanc in game 4 and then his Syndra in game 5 were really quite poor. Did draft in game 5 of finals make the game unplayable for BDD? No, the poor objective play made it unplayable for BDD. He played very well. His laning phase was great. They actually could have won if they'd given up that Adakan very easily, I think. Now, I think you have to question where Chovy goes. I think Chovy, obviously, in the semifinals, he didn't play great. That game 3 was not fantastic. I still think he's 3rd, though, you know, folks. I think that... Yeah, I still think he's 3rd, or at least around here. We'll see if anyone else is a contender. Who else is in this kind of bracket just below top 2? I suppose you chuck in names like Shanks Cream Knight. Who else deserves to be up there? Honky was stepping on fools. He was pretty good. Quid was actually pretty decent. I'll tell you that. He was pretty decent. So how do we start whittling this down now? Oh, by the way, Maple is probably worst mid of this one. Maple actually played very poorly, sadly for him. Zeka is definitely a cut below this kind of group here. Dire was okay. Dire wasn't fantastic. We'll chuck these kind of down here for now. Miru was a cut better than them. Tell you what, Caps wasn't bad either, actually, was he? Caps wasn't bad either. I think Honky was weird. I mean, then again, he was caught on Rise a lot. Okay, Honky was not in this group. Honky was not in this group. He was caught way too much on side lanes. His Rise was actually a bit of a liability. Quid was actually very good. Quid deserves to be somewhere up here too. In fact, actually, I think there's an argument that Quid played better than Caps, actually. Quid was very, very, very good. Quid was very good. Poby, I think, struggled quite a bit. Jojo was fine. Like, I wouldn't say it was special. Was Quad a little better than them? Honky above Caps and Quid? I think he's on the same level. I think Honky was on the same level as Caps and Quid this tournament. Then you got Zekka and Rookie in there too. Rookie was actually pretty good in their series versus T1. Zekka was actually not bad either though. Like he wasn't fantastic. I wouldn't say he was like peak, but he was not fantastic, you know. Mario was actually pretty good. Maple got a bit destroyed. Would I put Poby over Mirio? I actually think I'd put Poby at maybe like 14, sadly. Jojo was better than Quad. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Because I'm just kind of putting things in the general shape right now. And then we'll start to talk through specifics after that point. Well, we need to kind of move this kind of lot down anyway. Give some space to move these two around in the top here. Shanks absolutely bottled it versus Faker, but he was actually very good in group stage. One of the reasons that they beat Lee in Swiss. Cream was actually, you know, tell you what, Cream was not the reason they lost that semifinals either. I actually thought that Cream maybe had, I think Cream had one of his better international events. Weirdly, I think it's something like this, maybe. Although Knight was Knight was very 1v9, and I think Shanks completely bottled it in the game 4 and 5 versus T1. Though again, it is T1. How much do I value, you know, Knight 1v9ing with no help from his team compared to Shanks, you know, unfortunately playing against Worlds T1? Cream was actually pretty good. And I do think that Cream was very good versus Knight in the series they played against them. And in the semi-finals versus T1, I actually, again, I don't think he was the problem. He played well versus G2 as well. I actually, you know what, folks? I actually do think I put Cream just a cut above Knight, which is strange given that Knight was so 1v9. But I think Cream, oh no, this is close. This is close. I'm wondering whether I do this or whether I do this. Cream obviously beat Knight into the head-to-head, but Knight had a much worse team this tournament. And I think that Shanks bot. The mic died again? Okay, I just gotta tap my mic and it turns back on. My bad. Okay, cool. My bad. Thanks, folks. Appreciate it. Mike will occasionally just do that. So I'm wondering whether I put Shanks above these two, because I think Knight and Cream are actually quite close, and then it's just how much do I value the very poor quarterfinals that Shanks had in game 4 and 5. That's a rough one. Okay, what I'm going to do, folks, I'm going to have to decide on this a little bit later, but I think 4 through 6 are probably the LPL mid laners here. Shanks was great in the best of ones versus Genji and Lee. He was very good on them. Yeah, he was. His Orianna and his Cassiopeia were really good, but then Knight was very, very good. The thing is, I think that Shanks also had arguably one of the best jungles at the tournament in Tarzan. Did I put Tarzan? Was he in 4 or was it? Yeah, Tarzan was, he had the 3rd best jungler at the tournament, I think. And then when we get to support, I think Kyle was top 2. So he had an incredibly good macro team. I think his team was ahead in terms of draft and stuff. I think he had positions to carry, and then he completely... The game 4 blind pick LeBlanc was just so bad, man. I think... And then the game 5 Syndra was also not great. Like, he was ulting into a Mel shield to die. Oh, Zekka did have the tier disaster, didn't he? I think I put Shanks just below Knight and Cream, actually, weirdly. Just because he had his lows were really low. And I think I put Knight here in honor of his 1v9. I think I go Knight, Cream, Shanks. Although Cream actually very, very close there. Okay, then we move down into the mid-table. I think... Rookie, we didn't see that much from him. Would I put Zekka above these ones? I mean, Zekka was... He had a very good Azir game, very bad Ryze game, right? I think Zekka kind of has to be down here, right? How many spots I got left? I need to add in some extra... Wait, do I need to add in some extra spots? So how many spots have I got? 3. 1, 2... And I've got 1, 2, 3. So I need to add in another one. Oh, that's because I forgot that there needs to be a 17 because the play-ins team is involved. It's not just 16 total. My bad. I guess I maybe do this. Jojo was actually not... His laning phase was actually alright. But then, oh god, he was really bad versus T1, actually. His T1 laning phase was pretty bad, but whatever. Am I counting in strength of opponent and performance or not really? To a certain extent, yes. I mean, that's why, like, Knight is not clear-cut above Cream because his 1v9 was against, you know, a weaker team than Cream's, you know, I actually think very decent performance versus T1, for instance. It's taken into account as many factors as I can, right? It's obviously case by case. Was Zeka worse than all these three? You know what? Let me go to Leaguepedia. Let's go look at the match histories again. Let's go look at the good old match histories. Let's go look over the whole event. Okay, so this is the bracket and this is the Swiss. Let me just move this real quick. Okay, so we had actually played against anyone's legend they lost. I mean, he was very good versus CFO. And then he played against Chovy, and Chovy was, yeah. Oh my god, his game 2 on his ear was actually really bad versus Genji as well, wasn't it? Cream didn't have the strongest opponents either. He played against both world finalists. He played against KT Rolster, and he played against... Oh my god, I just remember that. Hang on, folks. Folks. I just remembered Cream's Annie in Swiss stage. I'm sorry, I just remembered Cream's Annie in Swiss stage. I'm so sorry. Cream was so bad at the start of Swiss. I actually have to put him back there. I just remember the start of his tournament, despite the fact that he had like a decent quarterfinals and semis. I'm so sorry. I just remembered Cream just had such an awful start to the tournament, actually. Or like his versus KT. Versus KT, it was just so bad from him, actually. Yeah, Cream was so bad versus KT. And then versus Genji, it was, again, not very good. He was very good versus BLG, but actually a lot of the other stuff was not great in that tournament. So that helps inform that. So there's so many games I've had to just skim over in my mind. Yeah. Oh, and obviously, folks, just obviously let me know in chat if you think I'm missing something obvious. Like right there, obviously, I had just forgotten that KT series from Cream. Yeah, that Annie was so bad, and his Aurora in that series was also very bad too. He was jumping into the enemy team and missing everything. Actually, does that knock him down below these? I do think that Zeka gets... In fact, I would argue, actually, that Zeka was a little worse than Rookie, who I actually think was actually pretty good on the whole. Even in the one series which he showed. Zeka had a bit of a nightmare. Oh, man. And then I think maybe some... Honky was a bit strange, because his Aurora versus... Who's it versus? His Aurora versus... Anyone's Legend was actually pretty... They were actually pretty close versus Anyone's Legend, remember, in that one series. They went 2-1 there, right? Rookie was solid. If only had shown that form during playoffs. You're very true there. Yeah. Would I put Rookie above Zeka? Yeah, I think I would have to, actually. Jojo... I don't know, man. And then we get... I mean, towards the bottom of this list, this is where things get a little bit more flimsy. I think Maple had a bit of a meh tournament. You think Quid was better than Caps? Quid did also carry versus BLG, but BLG were ass. Caps was actually very good on, say, the Anivia game. Caps was very... He was not great versus top esports, though, was he? You know, the Silas game was pretty bad from him. You know what? Yeah, I think I have to put Quid just a little above Caps, actually. I think Quid was actually very good. In fact, do I put Quid above Cream? Yeah, Quid has to be above Caps. Yeah, Quid actually had a very good tournament. He was actually very good. Let's not dunk on him. Would I put Cream below these? Would I do something like this, actually? Cream was... Cream was pretty damn good versus Knight, but... Is that disrespecting Cream too much? Honky and Cream both had pretty low lows. I think Cream has to be above Caps, just about, still. I mean, Cream did kind of demolish Caps in the 1v1. Yeah, and actually his semifinals were not bad. I don't want to dunk on him too hard. I think, actually, yeah, I actually think Quid does deserve the shout out here. I think he was actually very good. Yeah, I think that this is okay. I think there's an argument for Honky over Caps. Yeah, Cream was good versus Caps and Knight, but he struggled versus the rest of the field, really. Knight had, you know, Rock Lee training weights on a la Viper. Where did River end up on the list here? He was around here. He was around here. And we haven't done top lane just yet. But we'll do that later. But yeah, I think we will come back and tweak these a little later. But I was wondering whether actually River goes a little above Inspired. Because Inspired was actually a little bit low action. Well, maybe I do move it like that, actually. River was still pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's the angle, actually. Anyway, let's go back to mid lane. Let's just, let's check things off again. BDG and Faker clear top 2. Yes. Chovy Knight, I guess you've got Chovy Knight there. I think that, you know, Knight wasn't exactly on perfect form, was he? Didn't even get a bloody Swiss. But his team was so poor that, what can you say? Shanks was very poor in the end of the series versus T1, was very good versus H. Lee Genji. Like, do I put Shanks up to 4, Knight down to 5? How much do I value the 1v9? How much do I value this? I think I value the 1v9 quite a lot because, goddamn, the BLG were just such a poor team in a lot of ways. Towards the bottom of the list, am I making any big egregious errors? I think that Poby... I don't know, Poby didn't have a great Worlds. I think he was still a cut above Dire and Maple. I think Maple was pretty poor. Was he better than Dire? I don't know, Maple wasn't great. I don't know, Maple was pretty poor. I think I have to put Maple down and, like, right at the bottom, actually. Miryu had, like, a better head-to-head against a lot of the bottom tier players here. His Akali was insane, for instance. I think probably Dire and Maple have to take the bottom 2. I think Poby was a little better than them, but I don't think by much. I think Miryu was actually alright here. Jojo was a little better than Quad. Zeka was obviously meant to be much higher, but then, you know, I think his year was a little bit odd in general. Yeah, okay. I think we're okay with this for now. Let's move on to AD carries. Let's move on to AD carries. Let's get all of our AD carries and we'll just drag them out up onto here and we'll start to figure things out again. That's the wrong one. Oops. Pope. Gala. Doggo. Yeah, damn, Doggo's actually gonna place pretty high, you know, folks. Eddie. Massey. I already took out Massey already. Cool. FBI. Oh, FBI. I just remembered some of the stuff that FBI did. I just remembered some of the stuff that FBI did. And the Super as well. Okay, here's our list here. Okay. So, I think quite clearly our best AD carries at the tournament were like Guma Viper. I think Doggo's actually up there somewhere. Who else would I put in the top cut? Well, I guess Rule is somewhere up here. Dogdam's in a weird spot. Dogdam's somewhere up here. He's somewhere up here. Obviously he had a poor finals, but actually a lot of the rest of the tournament was alright from him. I think if you're looking at the worst AD carries at the tournament, I mean, Super threw a load of games. Although he was actually very good versus T1 on the Vayne game. Well, he kind of threw in that game too, right? Elk, I think, struggled. Morteus I'll need to spend some more time thinking about. Upset wasn't fantastic. FBI, yeah, Super and FBI were both on kind of like the thrower list, where they both threw very winnable games. Hope was decent, but he fumbled some late game scenarios. Eddie I don't think was fantastic. Massey was probably, I don't know. Hans I actually thought was alright. Elk got ran by FBI, yeah, but then FBI like completely threw a bunch of games. So while FBI had a good individual best of 1 versus BLG, like it's a best of 1. Yeah. Okay, folks, I'm going to say this straight up. I think Gumi Fusi was absolutely fantastic. I think he was really, really good. I think his finals were very good too. You know, I think he was, you know, while personally I think Ona was my finals MVP, Guma was absolutely a valid choice for that. I do think that Viper had the better tournament. And that Viper had massive chains on him from the rest of HLE really struggling to coordinate. So Viper was left in a very difficult spot as an AD carry where if your team is not coordinated very well, it often shows up the most in AD carry because they have to play within the pocket and the zone of safety that your team gives you. And the fact that he managed to play as well as he did, despite the fact that his team was failing to do that on occasion, is absolutely exceptional to me. Whereas I think that Guma probably had the best support in the tournament, probably had the best jungler in the tournament, top 2 mid laner as well. So I think that Guma had a little bit of a better platform to play from, played it out very well. He was obviously excellent, and he did walk away with Finals MVP as well. He's definitely top 2, but I think that Viper for me is like a clear number 1. After that, though, top 2, things get really interesting after top 2, folks. Because I actually think, folks, there's an argument for Doggo for being top 3. I actually think there's an argument for Doggo being top 3. Guma, even in his bad games, gapped the other ADC, but HLE was just Viper life equals. That's kind of what I'm getting right. And by the way, folks, I really need to preface this again. Like, I posted my team of the tournament on Twitter, and I had Viper over Guma, and I have had so much shit thrown at me by people talking about Guma Yushi. If I am praising Viper, I am not criticizing Guma Yusi. I need you to understand this. Just because I say Viper had a very good tournament does not make me think Guma did not have an excellent tournament as well. Guma Yusi is a 3-time world champion. He had an excellent run of form this year, climbing back from being benched. This guy is an absolute fucking icon of League of Legends and is very, very inspirational. I am not dunking on your AD carry. I just think Viper was excellent. I'm celebrating Viper, not criticizing Guma. I need you to understand this, okay? This is not disrespecting Guma UC, and for me, if you're saying, oh, you're disrespecting Guma by putting Viper first, well, if you're putting Guma first, I would say you're disrespecting Viper. I think you're overlooking the crazy amount of work which Viper had to put in on what was actually quite a dysfunctional team. I think Viper was fantastic. In fact, actually, let me, let's go find some stats, actually, across the whole thing, player stats. Who had the highest DPM of anyone at Worlds? Viper. Viper had almost 1,000 DPM on a losing team. That, like, just how fucking insane is this, folks? Average, almost 1,000 DPM. Do you understand how insane that is on a team which doesn't have a very good platform for an AD carry? That is mental stuff. That is an all-timer. I mean, the Ziggs game he played versus Genji is one of the greatest bot lane games I've ever seen, and it was in a loss. It's absolutely beyond me, folks. Something insanely important from him. But like, I think these two are clearly top 2. These two are clearly top 2, right? After that is where things get really, really interesting. The Ziggs game definitely skews that upwards, but then you look at stuff like his Kai'Sa game against Anyone's Legend as well. That's also in there too. It's not just an isolated event. He had a bunch of very, very insane games, you know? But yeah, I think that these two are clearly top 2. And, you know, if I see a list where I see Guma over Viper, I'm not going to be out gunning for them. I do understand that. I don't think there's like a crazy amount in it, right? I just think that Viper had an exceptional tournament. Okay, so after that, that's where things get really interesting. Ruler had a bad semifinals, folks. Yeah, he had a bad semifinals. Like, his game 1 versus KT was really not great. Where he was jumping forwards on the Corki. Like, he re-engaged onto BDD's Yone in the play where Canyon entered the game, and he walked up and just died for free instead of recalling and being able to fight for Dragon, which was kind of insane. To the point where I actually wonder whether he has to go 5 and Doctum has to go 4, despite the fact that Doctum had pretty poor finals. I actually wonder whether Ruler has to be at 5th. And by the way, folks, I actually think Doggo was 3rd. I think Doggo was exceptionally good on stuff like the Draven. I think that his quarterfinals were not fantastic, but then I think all of these players here have flaws, right? I think Doggo in his losing games he did kind of run it in some team fights, but he was so aggressive in the right moments and pushed the envelope in a way that very few AD carries can. I genuinely think Doggo was a top 3 AD carry in the world this tournament, which is insane coming from the LCP, which is a region which is often overlooked. I think Doggo was a top 3 AD carry. This guy's absolutely insane. And yeah, I think sadly for Ruler, I mean, I look at his semifinals, it was a bit rough. I think there's an argument to put him at 4 over Docdam, because Docdam's early laning phase is a bit rough. I mean, we did see that, hey, thanks for the gifts up there, Zareth, appreciate you. I think there's maybe an argument for this, maybe. But, this one I might have to sit and think about a little bit more. One of these two is going in 4th, one of them's going in 5th. I think probably Ruler has to go 5th. Which is kind of insane to me, given how damn good he was coming into this tournament. Let's make ourselves some more space. We should probably think about our worst AD carries of the tournament too. Right, LCP enjoyers. You're gonna have to choose. You're gonna have to you're going to have to help me out with Mortaeus, Eddie, and Betty, because I can't remember the specifics of that one as much. I don't agree with Doctem over Ruler. I mean, I think Ruler had some pretty awful moments, and I think that Doctem in the individual moments actually did very well versus him. There's nothing shown from him which gives him that. Doctem's late game was legitimately very good. His early laning phase was a bit rough, but Doctem was actually legit very good in a lot of big moments too. And you look at some of his turnarounds on, say, his Corki games versus top esports was very good. Yeah, I think that Doctem had flaws, but the problem is you're looking at Ruler and Doctem, who both, even though that I would argue they're top 5, had some pretty big flaws. After that, I think you probably do have like this tier of like what, probably Jackal of Hope. Handsam is probably a little below them, right? Gala, we didn't see that much from. Genji coaches Grief's Ruler hard. They always picked hard lanes for him. I don't think that's always true. Eddie wasn't bad from Team Secret Worlds, I don't think. Viper was maybe the only one in H League who really showed up. Well, I mean, if you looked at LCK throughout summer, you could argue that. I mean, you were kind of worried about players like Zeka anyway, right? And Delight was really coin flippy. Yeah, I think actually Ruler's team fights put him below Doctem. Doctem was actually a much better team fighter than Ruler, sadly, which is crazy given Ruler's team fight proficiency in the past. I think Upset sadly has to be in bottom. Upset did very little this tournament. I mean, he was pretty okay in that early level versus Elk, right? That's going to be interesting. God, this mid-table is going to be an absolute bloodbath. But then Upset, I don't know, Upset just is so little at this tournament, man. Is it something like this? Mortaeus, Betty, Upset? Maybe you put Upset over Betty because his 2v2 is a little better. Oh, we also need another row? Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, sorry. I don't need to remember that. Because I don't think Betty was pretty bad too. Do you think Upset was worse? Do you agree with the take saying Elk was the biggest problem BLG had? No, I think that they have a lot of stylistic issues outside of that. I think that you can argue that draft was the problem. I think it's hard pointing fingers individually at BLG when clearly it's a team chemistry and strategy. I would argue that it's actually coaching stuff. FBI actually did very well versus Elk in that one game they had. But FBI also threw a game but versus T1. FBI was really quite bad in that loss to T1 actually. But how much do I hold that against him? What else did they do? Let's have a look. 100 Thieves, who else did they play against? They won against BLG, lost against Top Esports. Remember they got battered a bit there. No LPL AD carries in the top 5. What happened to the game I love? I think that LPL bot lane fell off super hard, which is rough. They all played against the gods. I mean, typically LPL bot lanes have stood up well to them. You look at World Finals last year, and I think that Elk and On were going toe to toe with Guru and Carrier. I think FBI had... I actually think FBI, despite having that one good game versus BLG... Was he playing Ziggs in that game? He really struggled outside of that. I think Super had that one very good Vayne game versus T1. He threw the Corki game by just standing in a brush, knowing that the Kiana was coming to him and dying to that. Eddie was better than Masu, Super, and FBI? Let me see if I can remember that. Super was pretty awful, I think, sadly. Because I really like him, but he did really struggle. Like, this Yunara game wasn't his fault. That one wasn't his fault. The G2 game... Oh, he got blasted in that game, I seem to remember, but... Yeah, they lost the 2v2 pretty hard. I think Hansama kind of just hard diffed them there. Then there was the MKOI games. Oh, Super had a very good Zeri game there. Yeah, I remember that. Upset had a very good Kai'Sa game on the way back. That was the first Jarvan win. And then Super had the Vayne game. Oh, yeah. So actually, this was kind of trading of kind of blow for blow, but obviously Fnatic were one of the worst teams of the tournament, so how much does that mean, really? 3 games versus Team Secret Wales. Oh, yeah, Eddie had the insane Yunara game. I think you could argue that, actually, Eddie was the better bot lane versus MKOI, from what I remember, actually. And then versus T1, this Corki game, yeah, there was a bad bad moment when he kind of walked into Kiana on vision. And then this one, he got the solo kill on Guma, but then also had some bad moments himself. One sec. Okay, so. Where does that leave us? Yeah, maybe Eddie actually has to be something like this, because Eddie was actually pretty good versus Super. I don't think Elk was fantastic either, though. Elk was pretty poor this tournament. Gala, how much did... Let me remember back to the plan. How did Gala play in plan? Because I seem to remember it wasn't fantastic. Elk did have to play with On. Yeah, but On has to play with Elk too. You know, both of them kind of add to each other, right? Corki game was whatever. Oh, it wasn't fantastic. The Caitlyn game was pretty good from Gala, actually. I remember that. Gala got gapped him in his Guma, right? Oh, the Smolder game was really bad because he died greeting for 225 stacks at Atakan. And his Ziggs wasn't bad, but it just wasn't what they needed. For me, the best LEC is Poby. Prove me wrong. What's your logic behind that, Foxy? Because we just put Poby as 15. Caps was clearly better than him. Who else do we rank so far? Skimon was 7th in his role, clearly better than him. Hans Sama in 8th, I think he's clearly better than him. So while I think that Poby, you know, I actually think he had a very hard task ahead of him. I think quite clearly Caps, Jojo, Skimon, Hans were a lot better than him. So I'd love to know your logic there, actually. I think Jackie was probably a tad better than Hope. Hope had some pretty bad team fights. In fact, actually, going up here, I actually wonder whether... Hope had some pretty bad team fights. God, his Corki versus T1 was really, really quite bad. Gala was good in Swiss? Yeah, Gala was really good in Swiss, you know. I mean, Massey wasn't fantastic either from what I remember. Let's go back to these games here. So when they lost these... Oh, Masu Jin. The Jin was such a bad pick. Then his Lucian wasn't fantastic either. Oh yeah, they got hard diffed in that game. I mean, it was against Doggo and Kaiwing, who actually had a pretty good time with things, I suppose. In the G2 series, Hans outplayed Masu in the 1v1. Didn't achieve much on the Lucian here. Hey, thanks for the resub, Darkworld. Hope you're doing well. Did I see the latest LPL rumors? I've seen some, but there are so many rumors. It's really hard to actually track down what's actually going to stick and not. Yeah, Masu's Jin was not it, really. Although this game wasn't the problem. He actually did okay in this one. What else did FlyQuest do here? Good Corki game versus Eddie and Secret Wales. It was okay versus this T1 game. He wasn't the problem there. Versus VKS. Had a priority pick. Maybe I put like Massey down here below Gala. I mean, Gala wasn't like fantastic either, right? In fact, actually, Eddie was pretty good. Elk really didn't have a great tournament, did he? Well, what else did Elk do? Desire was okay in this game, actually. That was fine. That wasn't the problem. 100 Thieves, he was actually playing okay. He was one of the few people that played okay in that game, actually. I remember that now. Hey, Foxy, good to see you. Thanks for the sub. Appreciate you. Versus G2, Elk was actually pretty poor on the Ezreal, actually. I remember that now. Although it wasn't his fault. It was more like Shadow and On just completely sprinting it. What else did BLG do here? Oh yeah, his Kai'Sa was legit here, although honestly, like, that was just an insane game from Knight on the Ziggs. And then what happened in the top esports series again? Let me remind myself in terms of specifics. Oh yeah, Bin had a very good one game in this one. I remember that now. And Knight just destroyed Cream in the 1v1 there. This one, actually can't remember what Elk did in this game, actually. I remember Bin having a very poor Renekton game. And then he was actually pretty damn good in the Xayah game at the end. Okay, whatever. I'm okay having Elk towards the end here. Problem is Gala just didn't show enough. He had one good Caitlyn game, but that wasn't really it. I'm going to put Elk like a hair above Gala, but that's just because Gala didn't have enough games. What is this? What is this? Did you see that Faker said he had health issues during Worlds? He didn't say that, Naxa. He said he had a health checkup before Worlds and it was a little worse than it normally was. I'm pretty sure that's what I saw. So I don't think that would... Carry... There we go, sorry. Sometimes my mic cuts out, my bad. Yeah, I don't think Faker actually had health issues during Worlds. He had a health checkup before Worlds and he said it was a little worse than normal. But it's not like health issues. Yeah, and then, but actually Carrier actually did have health issues. He had like a bad stomach, I think, during Swiss stage. I disagree that Ruler isn't that good internationally. Yeah, I mean, Ruler was very, very, very good at MSI, right? And he was at MSI 23 as well. What did I miss? Elk was also Giga off this World. I think he was most of this year. I don't think it's that surprising if you look at most of this year. I think Elk was not fantastic a lot of this. Baytron, Elk, and On still in BLG. They're keeping them. Well, this is the thing. Because of salary caps, and because of how big... So I need you to understand, for people who are not like LPL heads, the better your org does and the better your players do, the more their minimum salary has to be legally quote unquote within the LPL. So yeah, you have to pay a certain amount for those players, and they still take up obviously the salary cap as well. So basically they're in a position where it's easier for them to re-sign rather than try and negotiate a new contract elsewhere, because it's very hard for players to keep them right now. Yeah. Summoner Park said that BLG and Top Esports has enough points to buy 2-3 top players. Yeah, basically you have points to bid on players, kind of, too. But yeah. Am I happy with this? Massey wasn't fantastic. Eddie was actually pretty good. Super and FBI both struggled. Although Super had the very good Vayne game. This one might annoy people, Super being down here, but he did throw a bunch of games, too. I don't want to disrespect Eddie, though, either. Eddie was better than Masu. Eddie was pretty legit. Yeah, I think Massey struggled, didn't he? Would I agree with that, though? Hang on, was Super better than Massey? Massey actually kind of struggled a bit, right? Even though he threw, was Massey better than Super? I don't think Super was better than Massey. I don't remember Hans doing anything. He was very, very consistent. His laning phase was very good. Maybe I put Hope just above Hans. Hans was super solid in lane. I don't think Hans was the problem with G2 this tournament. The quote unquote problem, right? Like, Hans was clearly better than Master in the 1v1. He beat him in the 1v1 on the Corki, I remember that. Side game was pretty legit, actually. And this Varus game was very good. He was very good on Varus versus BLG too, actually. Labrov is G2's biggest issue. I like Labrov, but yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Yeah, I think I'm okay with this for now. Let's move on to supports. So, let's just check out all of our supports again. This one's going to be pretty hard to do as well, actually. God, Woody really had a bad tournament, didn't he? Oops, wrong one. I would put a BC out there already. Ayla. Trimby. Oh, Mickey struggled too, didn't he? Okay, let's start this from the top again. Foxy, that is not the problem with Labrov. That's not the problem, Foxy. It's more of a macro thing in game sense. I actually disagree with that. Okay, so let's just point out our top two again, because I think actually there's quite a clear top two here between Kerry and Kyle. I think it's quite clear that Kerry was number one for me. Hey, Cinnamon, appreciate the and Foxy as well. I appreciate the resubs from you both. Appreciate you both. I think these two are quite clearly top two for me. Who else is even up there? BCO was actually very good. Duro wasn't bad. Duro was actually very good, I think. Peter was actually very good up until the last games of finals. He had a couple of healthy ints, but honestly, who hasn't? Ooh, then the rest of this gets wild, doesn't it? G2 should have tried to get Busio. Guys, it's Labrov's first year on G2. Like, do you really think that players just become good overnight? You have to learn the systems and shit. You can't just knee-jerk kick people. They took, how many years, you know, did they stick with the roster they had before that? You know, a while. Yeah, I think Peter probably was clear 3 here. I think our top 3 are actually pretty clear. It's not even top 2 which are clear. It's top 3 which are clear, I think. Lavrov struggled. Alvaro was alright. I guess all of the LEC supports are actually a bit rough. I didn't like Lavrov and BDS either. Well, in that case, I just don't... we weren't watching the same games. Lavrov was the only reason why BDS were a relevant team in a lot of ways. Hung really struggled, didn't he? Hung really struggled. Han struggled as well. Han really struggled as well, though, didn't he? Delight was flippy, but still at least... Oh, God, he was pretty anti-synergy, too. God damn, the level of support this tournament was not fantastic, folks. Woody was not great. Taki, I remember not being fantastic, but I can't remember enough on that. Bloody hell, this was a tournament of all time. Alvaro was actually okay. Alvaro, he wasn't fantastic, though, was he? On his top 10. I'm figuring it out. I'm trying to find out the vague shape of things first. Don't start hollering just yet, you know? Kaiwing was good and bad. He was pretty good at some points. He had that... Oh, actually, I think Kaiwing was also not fantastic, you know? He had that one Leona game where he missed everything multiple times. His early game macro was pretty okay, but... he wasn't actually great at landing skill shots. Kaiwing, I don't know. Kaiwing actually arguably, you know, lost them some games. Yeah, Kaiwing upset me because he actually had game-winning angles and just couldn't execute on them. Ayla was alright, actually. I thought Ayla was pretty legit, you know? He was pretty legit. Trimby was also not bad. But he also inted a bit on the Karma game and stuff, too. Would I say Wait, would I say Trimby was better than Labrov? I think he was. Was he better than Mickey? Also, probably yes, actually. Hang on, whatever, I might have just done something the wrong way. This actually might be one. I'm just going to shift stuff around, aren't I? Where did that go? I thought I just deleted Trimby. Whoopsies. I'm just moving stuff up here. Don't, this is not final. This is not final at all. Don't you worry. I actually think, you know what, weirdly, I think Trimby could actually be somewhere around here. Trimby was actually very good. Kaiwing gets to be above Hung at least. Hung was criminally poor, in fairness, at points. He had some okay moments in the first couple of rounds, though, I seem to remember. Let me remember. Versus G2. His Karma was very good versus G2. Actually, that was a good game. This game wasn't bad versus 100 Thieves either, but again, how much was on him? Where's Toppies? Wasn't this one? He absolutely just sucked versus KT. He was awful versus KT. Very, very bad versus them. Yeah, this was just goddamn awful. He was shockingly bad in that. Wrong one. Bad in this game too. Bad in this game too. So yeah, God, he was really quite poor, wasn't he? Versus BLG, I actually don't think... He also had some pretty bad games there too. His Braum game wasn't bad at first, and then he kind of entered as the game went on. Good early game there. This Poppy game was alright. Yeah, that was okay. This game was whatever on the Leona. Let me remember the quarterfinals. Yeah, Hung had a bad tournament. After what was actually a pretty solid summer. Quarterfinals. Yeah, the Braum was decent there. Oh my god, he was 1-9 in their loss versus GT. I remember that now, actually. Karma was okay. Yeah, the Karma was okay. Yeah, although, again, it wasn't really on him, but he was okay on the Karma. Yeah, he was poor. Yeah, Hung was poor. Yeah. Was he better than Labrov? Yeah, probably still by a bit. I think there was actually an argument to put Mickey slightly above him. Yeah, I think there's actually an argument to put Mickey slightly above him. At least Mickey's map movements weren't... No, Mickey was also not great, in fairness. Whatever. I think he has to be... Hung is, like, around this area, though. He was genuinely quite poor. What did Ayla do? Ayla was pretty good versus BLG. His laning phase actually impressed me quite a lot. How did Mako do in the play-in? How did he do in the play-in? Not great on the Nico. You remember that now. He didn't land like one big engage. Really, I seem to remember. Yeah, the karma wasn't his fault. That was, I mean, they just fell apart. Yeah. That wasn't his fault, I don't think. Oh, this wasn't a great Leona game. I do remember that one. Yeah. Okay, Mako wasn't fantastic. Mako wasn't fantastic. He probably does need to get knocked down a little bit. Probably like here, I guess. But I guess the level of support outside of like the very top wasn't fantastic either. Mako was not doing great, but then like, who was, you know? Maybe Alvaro's early games deserve him a little higher. Maybe here. Like, I think actually top I mean, I think everyone from like Busio upwards was pretty good. Everyone else was like pretty enough. And I do think Busio does deserve top 5. He was actually pretty damn good on the whole. I think Busio was the highlight of FlyQuest by quite a way for me. I think this is fine. Peter was flippy. He made some incredible game-changing plays. He had some low... He obviously had low points as well. His game 4 and 5 of finals, alongside Perfect, arguably lost them the series. On lower, that's true. We need to move on, I think, actually. I think On was pretty poor. Was he better than Alvaro? Yeah, I guess by a bit. I think you can argue that Ayla was better than On, though. I just... Like, On was not great. It was pretty bad, but I just don't think anyone else below him deserves to be above him. Does he? Is that true? On was... Kaiwing and Trimby up? Trimby was pretty good, actually, on the whole. But then he had that one real int game versus BLG as well on the Karma. I don't think Kaiwing... I mean, Kaiwing maybe a little above Mako, maybe? Maybe above that. Yeah, maybe this is fine, actually. Despite him being flippy, it's, again, this is the problem with the perspective of supports, is that there are so many supports which struggled a lot. Labrov wasn't that bad, but who was he better than then? Who was Labrov better than? Because I think that he was quite poor at some decent... Maybe you put him like a slightly above Mickey. I don't think you put him... Maybe, do you put him above Hung? Well, I mean, Labrov was even worse than Hung in that series. I think he's maybe slightly better than Mickey, sure. Because Mickey was kind of like... I think the problem was Mickey realized that they had losing game states and he had to flip the game, and it looked bad trying to flip the game. So I give some props to Mickey for that. But obviously it didn't lead to anything, whereas Labrov actually did have some decent snowball games from ahead. So maybe Labrov's here. Mickey underperformed hard? No, I don't think... I mean, I think just that strategically Fnatic just wasn't in a good place. Strategically, they were just all over the place. I think their drafts were very hit and miss. I think they didn't understand how to move around the map. Hey, G, good to see you. Labrov's biggest issue is his champion pool at this point. I mean, I think my biggest issue for him is his instincts of moving around the map. He second guesses where he's moving on the map too much. It's one of the same problems as Skewmond. If the play isn't obvious and the checklist isn't complete, sometimes he struggles to make an impact on the map. Hey, honey, good to see you. So maybe Labrov's here. I mean, it sucks because I like Labrov and Mickey, but they had a poor Worlds. Is there anything else weird in it? I mean, Delight was flippy, but... Does On deserve to be here? Yeah, maybe above Trimby. I mean, Trimby actually wasn't bad. I actually think maybe Kaiwing deserves one spot above him, even though Kaiwing was flippy too. Yeah, maybe that's the play. Yeah, maybe this is the play. Would I put Alvaro over Trimby? Maybe. Yeah, no, I think Trimby deserves to be over Alvaro, just about. Trimby was like the huge playmaker on that team. Even though he inted quite a lot. Again, like Trimby and Mickey were in a similar spot where strategically their teams were just not at the same level of the rest of their opponents, so they had to make big plays. Maybe Ayla above Delight. Unironically, it's not a bad argument for that. I still think Delight probably just about cuts it in there. Taki over Mickey. I'm going to give it to Mickey just about, because I'm not going to criticize Mickey as much for his team failing strategically and him kind of inting to try and make plays happen. So this is support. Let's go back onto top lane, because we haven't done top lane yet. So let's bring out all of our top lanes, because this one is really hard for me, folks, I think. Because, like, I'm not going to lie, there isn't a single top laner who I think played very well. I think pretty much everyone struggled. We've got the rest and driver. Oh, I need to remember which games they were both playing. Oh god, Asha was pretty rough, wasn't he? Oh, it's Hero and Pun with the two... Oh my god, there's the two Secret Worlds top laners as well. Gagos didn't play, so we don't rate him, right? Right, Gagos didn't play a single game, right? Sniper didn't play a game either. BB. Oscar was pretty bad too, Jesus. Okay, so I think immediately, Aja was awful. Aja was very bad. Oscar wasn't great. Is that the Pookie style? I remember those memes from, I was about to say Pookie style, damn what. I remember the Pookie style EMEA Masters. Was I casting that one? Maybe I was casting that one, I think I was. Was that 22, 23? Thanks for the follow anyway. Okay, top cut. Who are our top cut top laners? Keen. Oh, did I put Flandre? Did I miss Flandre? I think I did, didn't I? Where is he? Where's Flandre gone? There we go, I missed him. Keen, Flandre. Who played well as a top lane this tournament? Like, the level of top lane this tournament was so poor compared to, like, almost anyone else. You know, everything else. Like, do I think that Keen and Flandre had, like, good tournaments? No, not even then. Not really. I mean, Doppler was actually pretty legit. I guess needs to be up there at some point. 6-9 was alright. I guess Doran's up somewhere for team fight value. My god, who do I even put up here, you know? Zeus was probably in this kind of list. Bin was not great. I mean, maybe 369 is up here with Doran, but I don't know. It wasn't like he was fantastic either. BB was decent, I suppose. Well, even then, he wasn't great. I'd probably duck him down to this kind of level, right? Rest and Driver were... they were fine, I suppose. I guess the Shy's up here. Mirwin was all over the place. Oh, did I miss out Perfect as well? I did. Where'd Perfect go? There you go. Weirdly, I think Perfect needs to be up here as well. Up until finals, Perfect was actually really legit. Perfect probably does deserve to be like... Top 5 is probably like... Keen and Flandre is top 2, Perfect, Doran 369. This is like our top 5. This is our top 5 in some order. And I think for me, Keen, Flandre are... It's probably like... I don't know, Flandre, Keen, Doran, then what, Perfect 369? Maybe? Is that it? If we have time, can we watch part 1 of the Bro documentary on stream? I will see how much energy I have after this. Have you recorded it, Hawker? I need to mix some... I need to add in another... I need to add in a bunch of extra... aren't there like 3 extra ones, right? Because there are a bunch of sub-top laners. 17. 18. God, I can't remember who was better between Rest and Driver, actually, as well. In your opinion, 369 gets 4. I think Perfect was great up until the last couple of games of finals. I think Perfect was really fucking good. Also, he was very good versus 369 individually. CFO top laners did better than expected. Yeah, a little, but not like by a crazy amount, I think. Hero was Hero and Pwn were both in there. I can't even remember who was better and worse between them. But like, realistically, I look at the top lane pool, I'm like, okay, probably, yeah. Rest was better than Driver this tournament. I can't actually remember the individual games that they had. Whipper was fine. Mirren was... Put some respect on Pun. I can't remember. Oh my god. I don't know. Every single top laner was like kind of poor. Was Boel better than Pun and Hero? Oscar was pretty bad. Every top laner was a part of Worlds. Every top laner was happy to be there, you know? I'm just gonna... I mean, Would I put... Is Bin better than these? No, probably not. I mean, I think Dokla was better than him, on the whole. The Shy fucking entered that one game versus T1, but besides that was alright. Again, this is a general shape. Don't go yelling at me just yet. I guess Zeus is probably 6. Maybe, yeah. Maybe something like this. Wait, would I say that? No, Bin was directly worse than Dokla in that game there. Bin had a bad tournament. Maybe something like this? I'm obviously I'm spitballing a lot of this. Okay, is there anything egregious here? I think I'm happy with top 5. Is Zeus 6? I guess so. I mean, I don't think he was fantastic, but I guess so. Keen better than Flandra? Now, the thing is, I think that Keen was pretty good, but I think that Flandra, while his laning was pretty shit, he warped the tournament with the Rek'Sai top. His team fighting was actually very good, and despite the fact that he entered the game 5 on Aatrox with the flanks later, his early game was good there, and it was one of the reasons that they're in that game. And Keen completely entered the Yorick game. Yeah, yes, but Keen, like, was awful on the Yorick as well, Indon as well, you know? In fact, would I put Perfect above Doran? No, I can't, because Perfect solo entered a bunch of those games too. I think that... look, this is the problem with top lane. This is why I wanted to do this last. Like, the top laners at Worlds just really were all over the place. I think this is probably the worst level of top lane I've... When was the last time that Worlds was this low level? That Worlds top lane was this low level? When was the last time that it was this low level? I'm genuinely trying to remember. Well, 22 we had like Zeus and Kingen. Maybe... I mean, I even think that 22 had better level of top lane than this. 2120 was Nogari. 2019 we had like the Shy was still around as well, like in real peak. 2018 was the Shy as well. Hang on, sorry, let me move this stuff out. 2018 we had, you know, the Shy as well. And yes, I know that Gimgoon won 2019, but we still had like players like Wunder, we had Khan, I still think that was crazy there at that point. 2017, I suppose, was just so... Maybe you can argue 2017 just because 2017 was just such a shit year for top lane meta. I think it might actually be the worst since like 2017. And then I think probably 2014 was maybe the worst overall level of top lane. Maybe. Even then they were... Yeah. I think this is probably the worst level of top lane that I've seen since 2017 or 2014. Maybe. Maybe. 2017 was, yeah, I don't know, it was just, you didn't get to do anything fun. You were just there to make sure you teleported bot lane to the fucking on-sensor fiesta. You know? So, yeah, that's that. Was BB better than Dokla? Dokla was actually pretty damn good. He did get ran over a little bit by T1. I mean, probably BB over Dokla. Get Bwipo out of there? Bwipo's probably... Well, he's lower than the CFO top laners, right? Was Mirwin better than him? I guess maybe by a bit. I think he was better than Oscar. Yeah, probably Bwipo's down to 14 here. Yeah, this seems okay to me. Mirwin wasn't... Wait, what did Mirwin do this tournament, you know? Let's have a look at the old McCoy. Oh, the Ambassador. Yeah, I mean, they did give them Scion in that game. Mirwin's Ornn was kind of meh in lane. His Cassante was good. Okay, Mirwin's Cassante was good. Mirwin's Cassante was good. Yeah, he got a bit diffed in that game. Okay, whatever. This is... I think, like... Mirwin's okay here. You know, Mirwin's okay here. Mirwin's Cassante was the only good thing from him. True. I actually wonder whether actually Bwipo's a little above him, despite the fact that Bwipo also had, like, a healthy int or two. Even Hero beat Boal? That's true. Yeah, maybe Boal has to be, like, second to last or something like that. I think Aja was the worst while I was down here. Although I don't think... Again, like, the level of top lane was really quite poor here. I don't think Bin was better than Rest. There's an argument with that too, actually. But then Elite... How much do I value him being... Well, the Shy also into... He was a dirty fucking into too. In fact, do I actually put, like... Do I do something really crazy and do this? And actually put Rest and Driver above Bin and the Shy? I mean, Bin was pretty damn poor. I actually think... Well, hang on. In fact, maybe we do like Rest, Bin, the Shy, then Driver. Maybe we actually separate the two top laners like that. Because I think Driver was not great. Rest was a little better. I think maybe this is the splitting the hairs between them. And in fact, arguably I'd say the Shy was better than Bin. I think I would argue that the Shy was better than Bin. Maybe, unless it... Oh god, Bin was really not great. Not that the Shy was fantastic either. I mean, this level of top lane just really upset me this tournament, because I really enjoy watching good top laners. I think we're okay with that. I think we're okay with this. Right, do I put all of them together onto the same... Oh my god, that's going to be such a task, isn't it? I guess we could try it, but... I guess I just build them all up like this then, right? Okay, this is going to go all over the place, isn't it? Oh my god, where were Baytron and Shadow? They were 15, 16. Okay. Then there's... Oh, this is going to take forever, folks. Where was Canyon? Canyon was, what, 10th? What's the next one? Oh, bloody hell, what am I doing now? I remember Chevy being, like, 3rd, right? Ruler was 5th, I want to say. Duro, I can't remember what Duro was. Peanut, like, 6th or something? Oh, this is going to take forever. Peanut was 6th, yeah. What was Duro? Duro was 4th. Okay, you're going to have to watch me, like, piece together this for a while. Sorry, folks. Fix the Team Secret Worlds lanes? Which ones? You need to look at the Shy again. He entered that play-in match. Yeah, and he also destroyed, like, individually as well, you know? What? So, okay, I guess I put, like, the Shy, like, down here or something. I put, like, this up here or something. Yeah, sure. The Shy can be 12th. Opponent and Hero are better than Oscar. That's... Okay, sure. Fine. I will actually take that advisement. Oscar was pretty poor. Yeah. Where was Zeka? Where did we put Zeka? Zeka was... 11th. Viper was numero uno. Delight was... I want to say... Wait, was he 3rd or 4th? He was 6th. My bad. My bad. Wait, hang on. They have like a whole team of 6 players. What? Fake was 2nd. Guma was 2nd as well. Carrier was numero uno. Cuz was numero dos. BDD was numero uno. Lockdown was... Wait, was he 4th? I think he was 4th, yeah. God, this is going to be an absolute monolith to get through. Peter was 3rd, I want to say. Knight was 4th? He was 4th, yeah. Elk, I can't remember. Was he 10th or something? What was Elk? 9th. On was... wow, he was... Wait, On was 8th? Fucking hell, man. How bad... Jesus, that was a thing. Canavi, I want to say, was 4th, right? Yeah, he was. Cream was 5th? Wait, did I put... Wait, how much... I dropped down to 7th, yeah, because of the Aurora and Annie incidents. Ongcha says the only person who hasn't re-signed on Annual's Legends is Flandra. Huh. Tarzan Kyle re-signed. Yeah, I had her... Who he just re-signed? I heard there were sources, but I didn't know if it was official or not. Where was Jaculov? Jaculov was 6th. Though, again, I don't think he was, like, crazy. Hung was way down here, wasn't he? Hung was so bad. It feels quite... Yeah. I mean, it feels a little sad because he was actually very good in summer, but he just completely fell off a cliff, didn't he? Very poor tournament from him, sadly. Tarzan was 3rd. Shanks, I think I put him at 5th, right? Did I put him at 5th? What was he? Shanks 5th. Yeah, cool. It's not official, right? Yeah. All 3 leakers just confirmed it. Yeah. I heard something similar. Where was Hope? Hope was 7th. Kyle, I think, was number 2, right? Yeah. And then Peter was 3rd, wherever he was. Where's Peter on this list? Oh, he's on there already. Cool. Ginger, I think, was 5th, right? Ginger was 5th. Cool. Doggo was 3rd AD carry. Oh, Honkyu and Kaiwing. Honkyu, I put in at 9th. Yeah, Honkyu actually struggled a bit. His, like, for instance, you remember his Rise games, and he did struggle a fair bit. Caster struggled towards the end, despite having 1 or 2 good best of 1s. 14th, right. Maple was very poor. That was Betty. Betty I put down pretty close to the bottom as well. 16th, that was it. And then Woody was last place support. Yeah, oh man, PSG really had some bomb outs, didn't they? Where was Eddie? Eddie went up to 11. Oops. And then we had Taki at 16, which maybe is a bit harsh, but is what it is. What did I put Inspired? Inspired was 9. Quad, where was Quad? Quad was 30. Masu was quite poor, sadly, by his standards. 12th. And then, BCO was 5th. BCO was very good. I like BCO a lot. He was good. So now we've got our entirety of our top 5. What else we got in this? Oh yeah, I mean, we've got all the IG players still. What are the numbers meaning? This is ranking them. This is ranking the players from 20, well, 25. So basically, I'm now just combining all of our different roles. So we've got top, jungle, mid, AD carry, support. Yes, we just rated all of them, and then we'll see if there's any which seem again, see if any feel really egregious. Where is it? 11. All good. All good, all good, all good. It's rookie, you came in at number 10. So yeah, this is just me piecing it together. Maybe I should have just done all on the same list, but it was easier to do it non-combined at first. Carl was 10. Felt so bad that IG couldn't go through to Swiss. They were actually pretty good, you know. They were actually pretty good. Mako at 12. But they had so few games just to judge them on, you know. Was Gala better than Elk? Maybe he was. Maybe Gala was better than Elk. Whatever. We'll have another look after this. We'll have another look. Just one last kind of. This was 17. Oh yeah. Wait, how did that work then? Hang on. Wait. Oh, jungle. Yeah. Dyer was not high up either. He was 16. Yeah, he struggled. He got blasted by Miri. I still don't get the lottery contract. It's not a lottery. It's an auction. It's not a lottery where it's like random choice. It's just a different way. It means that you can't directly go between player and org. You have to like go through a bidding process. Where's DeSamus? 13. Yeah, DeSamus actually had a pretty good tournament. I don't think he was that poor. Miru 14. What was Mortes? Mortes was down at 15, which is a shame because actually he was. I actually really liked him in LTA playoffs, but I don't think he had. Oh yeah, Trimby was ranked a little higher for me. Okay, got a couple of our full teams in here now. So sort of public talk rather than behind closed doors. It means that effectively the player doesn't decide where they go. The player can decide one team to veto from the whole thing. Where did River end up? River was 8. River was damn good. I'm gonna miss River if he does end up going to military service, which I believe he does. BB over Dokla? Yeah, I think so, just about. But we'll this is the vague shape. We might make 1 or 2 more adjustments at the end. Quid had a very good tournament, you know. Came in at 6. Damn, crazy. Yeah, Quid was actually really damn good, you know, folks. I think Quid had a great tournament. FBI really struggled. He was the main reason that they lost a bunch of games. Sadly for him. 7. What did I put Hung? Hung was 13. Cool. Where was Skewmon? 7. Skewmon was actually pretty damn good for his first Worlds, wasn't he? Skewmon was pretty damn good for that. Where did Caps come in? Caps is at 8. Although I don't know. I actually wonder if I dip Caps down a bit again. Whatever, we'll adjust this on the fly later. Hands was 8. Labrov was pretty low, wasn't he? 14. Razok was, sadly, worst jungler at Worlds for me. He was at 18. Poby struggled a bit too, didn't he? 15. Upset was at 17. Oof. Mickey was a little bit better, was he? He was at 15, right? Skewmon above and Inspired, I'm quite unsure. He out-jungled him in 2 out of the 3 games that they played against each other. I think that one was actually, we got a direct head-to-head, luckily. But game 2 and 3 of that series, Skewmon was better than Inspired. And Inspired really struggled to make an impact in a lot of games. Caps is kind of low. I actually wonder if he's a little high. If you remember his games versus top esports, he really struggled versus them. Despite the fact that his Anivia was good versus BLG, you know. Okay, where was Yoya? Yoya was 12. Jojo, 12. That was Super. Super was very spiky. He kind of solo lost them from... Not solo lost them. He had made some big mistakes at points. Gotta fix the PSG players at the bottom, just align them properly. We shall do. Yeah. Well, right now they're in the same thing right now. It's just because we don't have even numbers of people per role, it's gonna be a little bit weird towards the bottom. I did think AL might have wanted to upgrade ADC. Yeah, Hope wasn't fantastic this world. He was very good this year, I think, on the whole. Yeah, the problem is there are differences between the number of roles, so we just have to... I think this is the order of things, right? Yeah. So this is, as for now, as it stands, like my ranking of player per role. So you've got top, jungle, mid, AD carry, support. So we got it in order there. Would he in like 17, not 19? Is that true? Oh, sorry. Yes, he was in 17. Sorry. And then AD carry, Betty was in 16. Sorry, you're absolutely right. Okay. And this is just the differences here. Wait, hang on. Where was Maple then? Maple was 17. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Yep. Cool. Not bad. Okay, so let's have a think about this again. Let's just see if we can spot anything egregious. Flandra owner BDD Viper carried. This is the same as what that I had on Twitter. I'm happy with this. What do you mean no data was returned? Oh, hey Kirby, how's it going? Hello. Oh, it's because you it's the there's an underscore after it. It's because it's linking a link which doesn't go anywhere, that's why. Hello League of Legends cast Nightmare. I informed you that you made a critical mistake in your tiered listing of players. You placed my favorite player exactly 2 positions too low. Please fix this immediately. I'll be forced to deploy exactly 1 gift subs to Twitch TV/Nightmare. Right. What's your favorite player? Who have I placed too low? Okay. Do I think that BB should be above Zokler? I mean, I guess by a bit. I think, yeah, Bin really had a rough tournament, didn't he? Although I don't think that Rest was fantastic either. Maybe Bin does deserve to be a little bit above Rest. He does need to be below Dokler. I think Dokler had way more impact in his games. Hey, thank you for the gifts. I appreciate you. I mean, maybe this is the play. The Shy did in some... Yeah, he did in that one bad game, didn't he? But Bin did struggle a lot. He was better in their game versus top esports. Bin had like one good best of, and it's the one that pushed BLG at the tournament. Yeah, and he did kind of like fail at the end, didn't he, I suppose? Yeah, Bin, I think Bin is barely in top 10. Okay. Okay, let's think about jungle. I think this is fine as well. I think that Junja making top 5 over Peanut makes just enough sense. Peanut was alright, but nothing special. Mid lane, yeah, I mean, Cream's Annie and Aurora in groups was very, very poor. I think this is just about right, folks. I think this is just about right. God, this is gonna be hard to, yeah, this is gonna be hard to picture out. But yeah, there we go. I think this is it. Ginger dropped hard after the 2-0 start. Might swap him in Peanut. Let me just think about the quarterfinals again. Game 1. Oh yeah, they tried to do the Sejuani Pantheon early game. Crazy stuff, didn't work out. This one was not great from Peanut. He got caught on mid lane to lose the game. It wasn't necessarily that, but you know. Trundle was a very good game. This one was a bit of a mess. What about the rest of things? Actually, well, I suppose we do have the head-to-head of Ginger Peanut, where... I would argue that Ginger was very good he was still pretty damn good in that H-Lee series, I felt. I thought there was more of a... lane diff, really. I mean, Zeka diffed Honku hard, and Delight massively outdid Kaiwing. Kaiwing was very slow on the map, you know. Kaiwing was really quite poor in that game, actually. Delight was pretty damn good. Yeah, you know what? Maybe we put Peanut just over Ginger. Maybe, I don't know, maybe not. No, I think that Ginger probably does deserve to be just up there. I think this is fine, folks. I think this is fine, personally. Let's, yeah, I think I'm okay with this. I think I'm okay with this. Anyone else notice anything? What I'll do, folks, I'll leave this on screen. I'm going to go to the toilet. I'll run an ad break. But if you guys spot anything in the meantime, you guys let me know. I'm going to grab myself a drink, and then we'll get on to doing League Awards after. So if you're a sub, you can watch through the ads, obviously. Okay, I wonder whether it's... Canu didn't play well, though, did he? Yeah, anyway, what's the thoughts? Okay. JDG and BLG are fighting over Viper. Damn, okay. Wait, I thought you said that Elk on Batron was staying at BLG. Okay, folks, I think I'm okay with this tier list. I don't think I've noticed anything egregious again yet. Well, we'll see. Okay, right, let's go on to League Awards then. Let's go on to League Awards. So, League Awards is the award show hosted by Cadril and Shox. And they do, this will be the second iteration of the League Awards. Now, I don't think I'm physically going to be at this one. I didn't get an invite, so I don't know whether they're doing an in-person one. Because it's being held after the Red Bull League of its own, which I'm not working on. I'd love to at some point, because it's a very cool event, but I don't have any contacts over at Red Bull. So I doubt I'm actually going to be there in person this time, despite myself being a German resident. But I can still put in my votes and stuff. Right, so let's go through our awards. Okay, LEC of the Player of the Year, might need to think about that one. LPL Player of the Year, this one I think is actually quite easy for me. I think this is Tarzan. I think Tarzan is the Player of the Year from the LPL. I think he was very, very consistent. I think across the average of the year, he was the best player in his role. I think he was the best jungle. Wait, text Cadril, he'll get you an invite? Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's got a lot of messages to check, so it's all good. I mean, yeah, I don't know how they're planning it. Maybe it's just one of those things where if you're at Munich, you just go, but I'm not going to Munich, right? I haven't got plans to go. But yeah, I think LPL Player of the Year for me is Tarzan. I think this guy was clearly best jungler in the year over the average, I think. He was very, very good. Very, very good throughout the entirety of the year. Made winter finals, made summer finals, was very good at MSI, was very good at Worlds, I think, too. I think this guy was very consistent. I think he's completely done away with the choking narrative that he used to have being in finals. I think this guy was fantastic. So I think that's quite easy for me, LPL Player of the Year. Who else would contend for that? Knight was 1v9. It's kind of between, like, Tarzan, Kanavi, Knight, Jakulov. Is anyone else in the list? It's probably those ones, right? I guess maybe you could say Kyle, but I think Tarzan was the better part of the jungle support duo there. Yeah, I think it's Tarzan. I think that, yeah, I think it's Tarzan on the whole. Although Kanavi's not crazy far behind, same with Knight. Jakulov was also pretty damn good too at points, but his first stand was pretty poor, although he actually got to first stand, so, you know. LCK Player of the Year. Ooh, that's a rough one too, actually. Oh, no. I actually think... No, I think this was pretty easy too. I think actually LCK Player of the Year is Owner. I think it's Owner. Oh shit, it could be... Well, BDD maybe too. BDD was exceptionally good for large parts of the... Hang on, let's list it out. Owner, Chovy, BDD. Who else could be in there? Owner, Chovy, BDD. Are those the three? I guess you have Ruler, right? I don't think it's Duro. Yeah. This is average over the entire year. I think it has to be Owner, no? Especially given that T1 were very dysfunctional as a team, and Owner was still a top 3 jungler in the world. I think it has to be Owner, no? Because I think Owner did... World Champion, for me, he was my finals MVP as well. Incredibly clutch, retained top 3 position in his role throughout the whole year. MSI finalist, world champion. For me, he was my finals MVP as well. I think Owner was fantastic. Owner had some bad games this year. BDD was smurfing all year long. You know, BDD was excellent too, though, this thing. So it's Owner, BDD... BDD had the worst team. It's Owner or BDD. BDD has a genuine shout. This one's hard. Owner, BDD. It's not crazy. It's not crazy between them, actually. Because BDD did make finals with a team that really shouldn't have been there, I suppose. I personally think I'm gonna say owner. I'm gonna say owner. This is the nominations. I'm gonna say owner. I think owner was incredibly good, retained top 3 in his role. World champion MSI finalists. Sadly for BDD, you know, we didn't get to see him at something like MSI as well. Which sadly does. Yeah. It does remove a little bit, right? LTA player of the year, quite clearly inspired. Though it'd be quite funny to put Dokler as well, though. And imagine LPL player there is Dokler. We've just called him at a very Chinese time in his life. Time in his life. LEC player of the year. This one's a little bit all over the place too. Free junglers. Hey, jungle's a very important role. LEC. I mean, is it just Caps? No, wait. Okay, let's list some stuff out again. So Caps is on the list. Who else would make the list? Well, I don't think you can put any of the KC players despite such a good start to the year. I guess you have someone like Skewmond legitimately. El Yoyo was good for a lot of the year, but I think Skewmond, you know, comprehensively diffed him in the last finals. Canna actually deserved... No, actually Canna does deserve a shout out. Canna was very good. Hans deserves a shout out. Canna really does deserve a shout out, actually. Yike was good to you all. Yeah, that's not true. He had some very bad, like, he was very good for a lot of the year, but he did have some very, like, disconnected engages. There were points where he was... I mean, I know the Vi meme kind of died a little bit, but there were some points where he just did some incomprehensible engages. Although he was very good for a lot of the year too, yeah. But Summer kind of wasn't that good. He was still very good. I still think Kana was still top 2 top laner in the league at that point. Got blasted by Oscar in the last series, but that wasn't... I wouldn't put it on him, you know. Honorable mention to Poby saving Fnatic in Summer. True. I think I put Skewmond over... Do I put Skewmond over Yoya? I mean, it's 3... 3 finals for Skewmond. Bottled it in 2 of them. Did well in the 3rd. MSI was bad. Worlds was good. Do I put Skewmond over Caps for the entire body of work over the whole year? Do we put Skewmond just for the growth which he's had as well? Hans was really good. Canna deserves to be in the conversation. Canna was incredibly good for so much of this year. Unironically, I'm leaning towards Skewmond right now. I think he actually did eventually end up outvaluing Yoya. And he had a better Worlds than Yoya by far. Even though MSI was a disaster. This one's hard. I'm putting Skewmond over Caps, I think, somehow. I can't believe I'm saying that. Yeah, screw it. I actually put Skewmond. Screw it. Yeah, massive growth from him. The growth he showed after MSI was insane. Okay, but how much am I valuing this, though? Because this... Player of the Year. Dominated the region, delivered consistently amazing performances throughout the year. He was very good apart from the finals, and then MSI. I mean, there's Canna... Skewmond or Canna then, I guess. Has Hans even had any lows this year? That's very true. Maybe Funnily enough, we talked about this on EuroLeague not crazy long ago. If it's on consistency, I think Skewmond's MSI and some of his finals take him out of the consistency argument. I'm gonna... LEC Player of the Year. That one's pretty rough, actually. I think it's Hans Sammer. I think it's Hans Sammer. This guy was so incredibly consistent. This guy was so ridiculously consistent. He had, yeah, this guy is one of the most consistent members, like, in EU history ever since he came back to Europe, you know. I'm going to leave it at Hans Sammer. So you have a Hans-inspired Tarzan owner, LCP Player of the Year. I think that's Junja. Even though I think Honkyu has been a real firecracker, I think Junja is my real... That guy's absolutely insane. Team of the Year. Oh, bloody hell, this one's going to be rough. I mean... okay, I'm gonna put this out there. I don't think it's T1. They won one tournament, and it was even then. They won Worlds, which is very important. I think it's Gen G, no? I think it just has to be Gen G. I mean, they won LCK and MSI. They won 2 LCK splits. They won MSI, dominant for a large part of the year. They lost... What, they lost 2 best-of-5s this year, right? Although... There's an argument to say AL, but they didn't win any international tournament. I think you have to win an international tournament to be Team of the Year. You can't, unless you're like consistently making finals. I think BLG had an argument last year because they made both major international finals. Yeah, I think it still has to be Gen G. I think T1 really struggled regionally compared to Gen G, who had just such a solid run throughout the entire year up until Worlds. It sucks because, you know, Gen G kind of just bottled it in the semi-finals. But yeah, I mean, even was it Guma that was saying, yeah, actually they expect... No, Faker said he thought they might lose versus AL, and Guma said that it was a very difficult tournament because they were making a lot of mistakes. So it wasn't like this was like a clean tournament win for T1 at Worlds either. I think I put Gen G. Although honestly, there's no like crazy out-and-out dominating team across this year. I think it is Gen G. MSI, 2 splits, very close to qualifying towards road to first stand as well. It was a 5-game series first, actually. Yeah. Player of the Year. You know, Rookie of the Year. Who even qualifies as a rookie? So we've got Skimond, Kalist, Diablo. Diablo didn't go international is the problem. Honkyu is playing... Was it Honkyu playing last year? When did Honkyu start playing? Honkyu is a rookie? Wait, did he play last year? Was this second string PCS? Or was it LCP last year? I mean... Honkyu played a bit last year though, no? Because how many games did he play here? So he played a couple of games in PCS 24 Summer. He's promoted to the main roster but didn't play a game. Right, okay, gotcha. So he does count. So I mean, I think I put Skimond over Kalista at this point. I will get hydrated. Thank you, Angie. Appreciate you. I don't think anyone in LPL gets it. Easy Honkyu? I think it's not that easy. I think Skimond's definitely up there though, no? Diablo didn't go international. It's hard to... Oh, Duro's... No, Duro's not a rookie. He was on BFX, BNK Fearx last year. Diablo was really damn good. Palkia is not like at this level. He's good, but he's not that level. Yeah, no, Duro was playing last year on BFX, yeah. This is your 3. Diablo was really, really good. I think it's got to be Honkyu, I think. I think it's Honkyu. This guy's he's just taken the world by storm. He's such an exciting player. Although Skimond's not too far behind. I think it's Honkyu. I think Honkyu had a better MSI than Skimond did. Despite the fact that I think Skimond had a better Worlds than Honkyu. I think Honkyu's MSI breaks it for me. And also, he was at first stand as well. He went to every single international event. He was great at first stand. He was pretty good at MSI. His Worlds was a bit whatever, but I think Honkyu deserves it. Honkyu was great. What do you call Honkyu at night? Honkshu? Esports Creator of the Year. There's this little guy called Nomero, which was making lots of content around the LPL and streaming it. I think that I think they deserve a shout out. Maybe you should nominate them yourselves. But what would I know about that? Community Creator of the Year. I don't. Someone like Dums is a good call, right? Dums has done a ton of really cool stuff. I know, this is one which I have. I think this one should be voted on by amount of LPL hours streamed. Exactly, yeah. Are you allowed to even vote for this? This is nominating, Amber. I'm nominating myself. And you can too. Community Creator of the Year. I mean, Dums is right up there. Do I know anyone? Do I know? Wait, hang on. I mean, it is always... Skin Spotlights is like... isn't it just... I mean, Skin Spotlights just does... I think he's been forgotten for how much he does. Skin Spotlights does so much work, folks. But that being said, Dums did have me a lot of his... Okay, because Dums had me on his content, I think it's Dums. Broadcast Talent of the Year. This little guy called... Okay, I'm not going to vote for myself for this one. Who would I put as Broadcast Talent of the Year? Who do I think was the Broadcast Talent of the Year? Tell you what, Medic had a really good year. Medic had a really good year. Oh, Cronny. Give it to Chronicler. I mean, he's going to win it anyway, right? It's going to be Cronny. Yeah. Whatever. It'll be Chronicler. I'd like a nomination, but I don't expect to win against that, you know? It's Chronicler, actually. It is just Chronicler. I think he's had a great year. Celebrate his career. Why not? Moment of the year. T13P. I don't think that was my moment of the year. Obviously, it's a big moment, but I think there were things which impacted me more. Oh, I tell you what was great. Hang on, can I find it? Where was it? Let me see if I can go find it real quick. Did I put the Nexus on here? Oh yeah, here we go.
You're not in
Let me show you this. This ship is so cool. This might be my favorite moment of the year. This is insane.
You're not in position, Gala. Is he going to ult? Yes, he
Hang on, that's very loud. Let's turn down that volume.
is. Can he get the feather ball? He goes down into the J. Oh, so quickly. And the Shy gets blasted too. Gala must be protected. Whereas the feather ball goes nowhere. And Rocky trying to clear the wave, and I don't think he's going to do enough. Has full crit, but can he do enough? Death time is 40 seconds. Rookie trying to buy time. Goes into the base. Knows he must survive for as long as possible. Doesn't have the ult, but doing great. Damage forces the flash out. And this is all time which Weibo could be using, pushing to end the game. Light has been left on that duty. Rookie had the Ocean Soul ticking.
God, I was solo casting. You can see I was stumbling on my words.
As well, surviving even longer, missing the knockup, but he's still alive.
He lives for so long that it means that they can't end the game.
One more with him. No. Goes down. Is that enough? No, 15 seconds.
So remember that Rookie died for this? To make sure that they couldn't end on this push.
Tian going forward on to Wei. Can they get the full kill? He has Zhonya's, he has Flash. He can probably make it out of this alive. The Shy getting good damage. Can he get the
Shy hopped over the Renata roll?
Goes onto the grab field. Gala has dodges the needlework. This time feather pullback. Rookie is now alive.
Oh, hang on. This isn't actually the game I was thinking about.
Back out onto the map. Flank teleport. Perhaps the Shy. Oh my god, the burn is insane. Rookie comes in. He's alive. He takes down Shahu. The Victor is dead. Light getting jumped onto, and the Shy trying to clean up. GA.
God, the casting's actually pretty rough.
And I don't think there are enough of them. He's not a cat. He's just a Callista. No 9 lives, and 3 will not be enough for the Soul. Maokai ultimate coming through. Do they hit the towers? They look for the fight.
It was a Nexus to Nexus to Nexus. This is actually not the game I was thinking about, though. Okay, so there's that. What is the one I was actually thinking of? Where was it? Where is it? This one? Next to Nexus to Nexus. Where was this? The 1 HP Baron Steel? Oh yeah, this is the one. This is the one. This is better casting too.
Into the pits. There's no wards on him either. Jeja. Oh my god, are we flipping for the late game? Maker goes in but doesn't commit to the full combo. Are we flipping? We are. It's a Baron Steel. Of course it's a Baron Steel. But the fight comes after. It's a little longer, but I just don't think it's enough.
So they Baron Steel, but they lose the fight.
Damage, and though the Baron goes down, JDG will claim the lives. 5 alive heading towards the Nexus. I don't think IG can hold. 2 Baron steals is not enough to save.
This is the second Baron steal that they stole this game.
Of Paises, Zeri. There's a dash away. There's some decent damage. Rookie doesn't have his ultimate though. The towers are falling. And who needs a Baron when you have a Zeri that plays like this? Shindong Gaming will take the Nexus. They bloody well try to take the Nexus. No! They die on the Nexus! JDG
Baron steal into Nexus to Nexus. God damn.
Maybe they did need the Baron teleported to the mid lane. IG, 2 Baron steals. Protection of the base. Absolute cinema. Rookie intercepts the wave, and we might have a Nexus to Nexus. Never in my life have I seen an ending like this.
Can I get rid of this? Yeah,
A
okay.
Baron steal into Nexus push into Ace with less than 100 HP on the Nexus to running it back. Are you not entertained? Invictus Gaming will win the series 2-1. Never in my life have I seen something like this. Only in the LPL do you get this. Invictus Gaming take the series.
That was a pretty good one. Anyway, there are a lot of good moments, but that was one of the good ones. Moment of the year. Is that still it, though? Ah, sure, whatever. IGV, JDG, 2 times Baron, I don't know. We'll do that. We'll do that. IG in both of these, by the way. That's very true. Yep. Content piece of the... Oh, bloody hell. I don't know about content piece. Content piece of the year? Can't even think of anything like that. Anything come to mind? I can't think of anything crazy, though. Content piece? World's teasers? I mean, I thought the World's teasers were fine, but I don't think they were, like... I don't think the World's teasers were, like, crazy this year, I suppose. Not compared to, you know... Oh, yes! Godguo! Yes! Godguo. It's absolutely Godguo. It's fucking Godguo predictions. What do you mean? It's Godguo. Fan art piece of the year. Now, folks, Hanivai's in chat. You can do your propaganda now. So, folks, there was a really cool... It was a really cool initiative by a lot of the LEC fan artists to do, like, the LEC... like, do an LEC fan artist... Oops. There's the LEC fan artist alley, which is really cool. We're basically just the LEC like fan artists kind of set up a stall at the finals, which is really cool. Yeah. I don't know whether they want a specific one, but because I couldn't think of a specific one right now. LEC fan alley, right? Cool. You see, no one did any fan art of me this year, so, you know, I don't have any bias in this one. There's the season's greeting. Oh yeah, the season's greeting was basically Christmas cards made by a load of artists for each of the players, which was really cool. Yeah, sure, you know what? It was a really cool initiative. I really appreciated the amount of passion in that. The LEC is very blessed to have its fan art community, which is very cool. Boo? Why boo? Oh, no, fan art of me. Right. I was wondering what you were booing. Okay, and then play of the year. Oh, bloody hell. What was the play of the year? I can't even think. Play of the year? Carrier's Nico was insane. Play of the year. Oh, there's the Shy 1v1, which was really lit too. There was the Shy one, like, 0 mana outplay. Actually, you know what, screw it. I'm gonna do that just because my play of it was really good. The Shy's, that was really sick, actually. It's play of the year, play of the year. I'm gonna put this. I'm just gonna do some LPL shilling, you know, because someone has to. I think this is my nominations, folks. I think this is my nominations. Did I manage to put everything else down to one? I did. Player of the year. I skipped that. Player of the year. I mean, for me, it's probably just Owner, right? I think Owner was insanely good. Yeah, it's Owner. Yeah, it'll be Owner. I think he was the, you know, LCK Player of the Year, won Worlds. I think if you're choosing out of the regions to pick your Player of the Year from, Owner. Cool. Fan Alley and Season Greetings were separate events. Oh, okay. Right, okay. Sure, we'll do, sure, we'll do it for Hannibal then. LEC Season's Greetings, why not? Cool. Tarzan, no? Oh, that's a fair point, actually. Ooh, actually, maybe it is Tarzan. Tarzan, I think, was on average better than Owner across this year. Although he didn't win any international tournaments. Yeah, you know what? Tarzan was so sick for so much of the year. We'll do some LPL shilling. We'll do Tarzan. This is only nominations anyway, right? So he should be nominated for that. Okay, folks, I think that's it. We'll lock it in. We'll lock it in. Cool. And with that, folks, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgotten how much like analysis streams kind of drain me. What is this? Yeah, I already responded to that. Cool. Okay, guys, I'm actually probably gonna head off. Because I forgot how crazy, like, yeah, good shout and creator of the year. Oh, sorry, I wasn't checking YouTube chat that much this time, folks. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there. I'm a little bit like mentally kind of drained right now. We'll go raid someone over, but thanks for joining me, and we'll go, yeah, we'll do that thing where we go offline. Thanks everyone for joining. Oh, but one last thing, by the way, one last thing. If you'd like to support me and the channel, please do download and sign up to Opera GX. It makes a lot of difference. The amount of users we get gets me some more pay, and it means it's more likely for me to get an extra partnership with them in the future. So yeah, if you can, I'm using Opera GX here as well. Woo, Opera GX. Yeah, there's yeah, so if you can do that, it's very, very cool. Thank you for stopping by, and we'll see you when I see you. Oh yeah, tomorrow I'll be doing Dispatch. Oh, hang on, Frankie's playing Dispatch. So for those on stream, we played through Dispatch before. Don't spoil, but Frankie's playing it. So you go say hi to Frankie. See you in a bit, folks. Bye-bye.